Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Ethereum, but we're not just talking about the main network, we're exploring the superhighways built on top of it, Layer 2 South. Specifically, we're putting two of the biggest players, Arbitrum and Optimism, head-to-head. If you've ever been frustrated by high gas fees or slow transactions on Ethereum, this video is for you. We'll break down what Layer 2 South are, how they work, and why they are absolutely critical for Ethereum's future. So, what exactly is a Layer 2, or L2? Think of Ethereum as a bustling, popular city. The main roads, which we call Layer 1 or the mainnet, can get incredibly congested. Every car, or transaction, wants to use the same road, which drives up the toll, or gas fees, and causes massive traffic jams. It's slow and expensive. Layer 2 South are like expressways or high-speed rail lines built on top of this city. They take a bunch of transactions, process them off the main road in a much faster and cheaper environment, and then just report the final results back to the main city. This frees up space on the mainnet, making everything more efficient. The key is that they still rely on the security of the main Ethereum network to finalize everything. So you get the best of both worlds: speed and low cost. With Ethereum's robust security, the most popular technology for this is called Rollups. Imagine you and your friends go out for dinner. Instead of everyone paying the restaurant individually, one person pays the full bill and everyone else pays that person back. A rollup does something similar. It bundles, or rolls up, hundreds of transactions into a single batch and submits that one batch to the Ethereum mainnet. Since you're only paying the mainnet gas fee for one transaction instead of hundreds, the cost for each individual user gets slashed dramatically. Both Arbitrum and Optimism use a specific type of rollup called an optimistic rollup. The name comes from their innocent until proven guilty approach. They optimistically assume all transactions in a batch are valid and don't initially provide any complex proof. This makes them very fast and cheap. But what if someone tries to cheat? Well, there's a challenge period, usually about a week long. During this time, anyone can challenge a transaction if they think it's fraudulent. They do this by submitting a fraud proof. If the challenge is successful, the cheater is penalized, and the person who spotted the fraud gets a reward. This system incentivizes everyone to play by the rules. It's this challenge period that causes the 1-week withdrawal delay when you want to move your funds from these L2 South back to the Ethereum mainnet using their native bridges. Don't worry, there are ways around this, which we'll cover later. So, if both Arbitrum and Optimism use optimistic rollups, what's the difference? It gets a bit technical, but the main distinction lies in how they handle these fraud proofs. Optimism uses single-round fraud proofs. This means if a transaction is challenged, the entire transaction is re-executed on the Ethereum mainnet to check for fraud. It's straightforward, but can be a bit more expensive in terms of gas fees on L1 if a challenge occurs. Arbitrum, on the other hand, uses multi-round fraud proofs. Instead of rerunning the whole transaction, Arbitrum's system goes back and forth with the challenger, narrowing down the dispute to a single, tiny step. In practice, for the average user, these technical differences aren't something you'll notice day to day. What you will notice is the ecosystem of apps, or DA apps, built on each network. Both have exploded in popularity, but they have their own unique flavors. Let's start with Arbitrum. Arbitrum has historically been the king of Layer 2 South in terms of total value, locked, or TVL, and the sheer number of projects. It's home to some of DeFi's biggest names. You have GMX, a hugely popular decentralized perpetuals exchange. There's also Radiant Capital, a cross-chain lending market, and Camelot, a native decentralized exchange with some really innovative features. The DeFi ecosystem on Arbitrum is deep, liquid, and feels very mature. Beyond DeFi, Arbitrum has a thriving NFT scene with marketplaces like Treasure.io, which is more than just a marketplace, it's a whole gaming ecosystem. Projects like The Beacon, a fantasy action roguelike game, have brought tons of users to the network. Now, let's look at Optimism. Optimism has taken a slightly different path, focusing heavily on what they call the superchain. This is a vision where Optimism isn't just one chain, but a network of interconnected L2 South, all built using their technology, called the Op Stack. Major players like Coinbase have built their own L2, called Base, using the Op Stack. WorldCoin also uses it. This creates a powerful network effect. In terms of its own ecosystem, Optimism is home to giants like Synthetics, a derivatives liquidity protocol, and Velodrome, its largest native decentralized exchange. Optimism has also gained a lot of attention for its governance model and its focus on funding public goods through initiatives like retroactive public goods funding. So, why should you even bother with these platforms? The opportunities are massive. The first and most obvious is the cost. Swapping tokens on Arbitrum or Optimism might cost you a few cents, compared to potentially tens or even hundreds of dollars on Ethereum during peak times. This makes DeFi and NFTs accessible to everyone, not just whales. This improved user experience unlocks new possibilities. microtransactions become feasible. You can imagine paying for a coffee or tipping a creator with crypto without fees, eating up the whole amount. Gaming is another huge area. Blockchain games require tons of small, fast transactions, something impossible on L1. L2s make complex on-chain games a reality. And then there are the incentives. Both networks have used airdrops to reward early users and attract new ones. The ARB and OP token airdrops were some of the most significant events in crypto, and the possibility of future airdrops from new protocols building on these L2s is a huge draw for many users. These tokens also give you a say in the governance of the network, which is pretty cool, but with great opportunity comes great risk. It's crucial to be aware of the dangers. The biggest risk with L2 South is bridge security. Bridges are the tools that let you move your assets from Ethereum to an L2 and back. They hold vast amounts of cryptocurrency, making them prime targets for hackers. We've seen major bridge hacks in the past, so it's vital to use reputable, well-audited bridges. The official bridges for Arbitrum and Optimism are generally the safest, but third-party bridges like Hop or Stargate can offer faster withdrawals, though they come with their own set of risks. Another risk is sequencer centralization. The sequencer is the component that orders and batches transactions before submitting them to L1. Right now, for both Arbitrum and Optimism, these sequencers are run by a single entity, the development teams themselves. While they have plans to decentralize this over time, it currently represents a single point of failure. If the sequencer goes down, the network can halt, though your funds would still be safe and recoverable from L1. We also have to remember that 1-week withdrawal period for native bridges we talked about. If you need your funds back on Ethereum quickly in an emergency, this delay can be a problem. That's why those third-party bridges are popular. But again, you're trading some security for that convenience. Finally, like any smart contract platform, there's always the risk of bugs in the dApps themselves. Just because an app is on a reputable L2 doesn't mean the app itself is flawless. Always do your own research. Check for audits from reputable security firms. See how long the project has been running, and look at the community sentiment. A good rule of thumb is to always start with small amounts. Before you bridge over your life savings, send a small test transaction to get comfortable with the process and the platform. So, to wrap it all up, Layer 2 South, like Arbitrum and Optimism, are not just a nice-to-have, they are the present and future of Ethereum scalability. They make the network usable for the average person by drastically lowering fees and increasing speeds. Arbitrum currently leads with a massive, mature ecosystem, while Optimism is building a powerful network of chains with its superchain vision. The upside is enormous, from cheaper DeFi and NFTs to the birth of on-chain gaming and new economic models. However, it's essential to proceed with caution. Understand the risks associated with bridges, sequencers, and smart contracts. Always use reputable platforms. Check for audits, and never invest more than you're willing to lose. Start small, learn the ropes, and you'll be well on your way to exploring this exciting new frontier of Ethereum. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of crypto. Let me know in the comments which layer 2 you're most excited about. See you in the next one.